See, we are not making it compulsory for you to switch on your video, because we have done the various theories related to evolution. Kunal, good to see you. Okay, so I'll just show you that presentation. We'll proceed with the same presentation. Okay, I hope you remember what we had done so far. In evolution, we had done about, where is it? Wait. Are you able to see my screen? What is happening? Yes. Okay, so now in evolution, you were able to see, we have done all this. We have done the origin of life. We have done chemical origin. We have done how life evolved. Okay, I'm quickly flipping through it. We have done about the paleontological evidences for origin of life. We have done about the embryological evidences for the origin of life. We have done comparative anatomy and morphology, in which we studied about homologous and analogous organs to support the origin of life. Then we studied about molecular history, that is, we studied about molecular homology and biogeography. In biogeography, I told you, although this is not there in your NCERT, but yes, scientists have divided the world into the whole Earth into 6 different realms or regions. Okay, and these regions seem to have the similar types of similarity between plants and animals. Characteristics of plants and animals is seen there. Okay, so this is what we had done. Yes, beta.
Ma'am, you have told yesterday that you will show us the pictures.
Yes. I'll show you. I'll show you the pictures. Okay. So first, let's complete this. If we have time left, I'll show you those pictures of. I wanted to show you the pictures of Ladakh. Okay. And sorry. I wanted to show you the pictures of Pushpa Gujral Science City. Yes. And in this, all the pictures related to evolution I'll be showing. So see, I have kept those pictures for the last part of the chapter, where we'll be studying about human evolution. Okay, so when we come to human evolution, we will see those pictures. Okay, and Aditya, thank you so much for reminding me yesterday about those pictures. Fine, so we were doing about the theory of natural selection. In theory of natural selection, we have studied about Charles Darwin. What did he say? I told you 2 important theories. What he said, he told about the origin of life. And in origin of life, he explained that all the species, they arise, new organisms, they arise because of 2 factors. New species or diversity increases because of branching descent and natural selection. So 2 basic important phenomena given him by him was branching descent and natural selection. All this we have done yesterday. Then evidence to prove natural selection, this we were doing, and I told you that in case of I think we have completed this also. Evidence to prove natural selection, the first and important example was industrial melanism. In industrial melanism, we know that when pollution, lichens are the pollution indicators. When there is no pollution or very less pollution is there, lichens, they form a whitish colored coating over the tree trunks. Okay, and what happened at that time, if suppose you imagine it yourself, that on a whitish or milky tree trunk, if a white colored moth or a white colored insect is sitting, and the other insect which is sitting is dark colored, black color or dark gray color, and a crow happens to come by and wants to eat the insect, which insect will be more visible to the crow? Obviously the dark colored one. Okay, so what will happen? It will be difficult for crow to identify a white insect on a white background, so it will by default eat away majority of black insect. And when this goes on for many generations, what will happen to the population of white insects? The population of white insects will decrease. Okay, so this is what was happening before the industrial revolution came. Before industrial revolution, pollution less, more amount of lichens. See here, see this picture. These are whitish color because of lichens present on the tree trunks, and on a white background. What happens? This white colored moth, if it sits on a white background, it will not be seen clearly. The black colored moth will be seen very, very clearly. So black colored moths were eaten away more by the crow, and therefore the population of black colored moths was very less. Now, after industrialization, what happens? After industrialization, Because of pollution, the lichens, they disappeared. Pollution indicators, they are destroyed. They do not exist in the area. They become dead because of pollution. So because all the lichens, they disappeared from the tree trunks, the tree trunks showed their original color, which is a dark brown or a blackish colored trunk. So on a dark brown or a blackish colored trunk, when a white moth used to sit, it was more evidently seen by the crow rather than these black colored moths. Okay, so this is a lichen-free trunk post-industrialization. The black colored moths were not easily visible to the crow, so now they started eating the white moths more. So the number of black colored moths went on increasing. What is this? This is again natural selection, because the black color gave the black moths a survival benefit. Their number went on increasing, and because they were not having, white moths were not having a survival benefit, their number went on decreasing. So because of human action, anthropogenic action, because of humans, an evolution is taking place. Okay, so this is again a very important topic. If you see your book, simultaneously please open your NCRTs. If you have your NCRTs, please open them. These topics are very important because they come in board number of times. So this topic, which is given here in your NCRT on page number 132. See, refer to the book, where it is mentioned. Page number 132. In page number 132, industrial melanism is explained in the first paragraph. In this, they are showing the same type of tree trunk, although picture is not very clear. It is clearer here. Okay, so this is because of industrialization. What happened? The population density of the two colors, it changed, because now the darker color was giving a survival benefit in comparison to the lighter color. Okay, then after this, again one more very important topic is mentioned here, that is anthropogenic action. Now anthropogenic action, we have not explained the meaning of anthropogenic. Okay, so what is anthropogenic action? It is the environmental pollution, any change which is occurring because of environmental pollution and which is contributed to by humans. I repeat, any change in environmental pollution, anthropogenic action is change in environmental pollution level contributed for by the humans. So even this industrial melanism was an anthropogenic action, because industries, God did not come down and make these industries. These industries were created by humans, and because of us, this type of an evolution was taking place. Okay, then the next example which is given here, another anthropogenic action was increase in antibiotic resistance. Now antibiotic resistance, why did antibiotic resistance increase more? See, that is why it is said that whenever you're taking an antibiotic, complete the course of an antibiotic. Do not take antibiotics unnecessarily, because if you do so, what will happen? If you are taking antibiotic unnecessarily, this is increasing the resistance among bacteria. The bacteria who are even a bit resistant, their number will go on increasing, and the other bacteria will go on decreasing. Okay, so what will happen in the end? Ultimately, after some time, because bacteria can double itself in 20 minutes. So within a few months or within a few years, the whole new species will be created. The whole group of bacteria will be resistant to antibiotic, and that same antibiotic will become inefficient when it is taken in a particular disease. Okay, excessive use of pesticides, excessive use of insecticides, excessive use of DDTs, etc., is increasing this antibiotic resistance. And what is ultimately happening in antibiotic resistance? Evolution is being shown by bacteria or various organisms. So this kind of an evolution is an evolution due to an anthropogenic action. Okay, so evolution can take place. One more contributing factor to evolution is anthropogenic action. Fine. Industrial melanism, antibiotic resistance are two examples of the same. Fine. So they have given here in this resistance to chemicals. Just remember, although this term is not given here in this presentation, but this term is very important. बोर्ड में बहुत बार आया है ये term. Anthropogenic action, यहाँ पर सिर्फ एक line में mentioned है. These are examples of evolution by anthropogenic action. तो क्या होता है anthropogenic action? Chiefly environmental pollution which is contributed to by the humans. Right? So resistance to chemicals, because unnecessary overuse of pesticide. We cannot go away with the use of, we cannot do away with the use of insecticides, pesticide. But problem arises when we use them improperly, when it is not required, then also we are spraying, and then we are not taking it in proper doses for the proper time. Okay, so then these resistant amount of resistant bacteria goes on increasing very quickly. Okay, so use of pesticides, insecticides, DDT resistance in mosquitoes. Now you spray DDT, mosquitoes they fly very comfortably in that smog of DDT because they are resistant to it. Okay, so all this is because we had sprayed DDT so much that all those that were not resistant to DDT have already died. Now what are left are resistant to DDT. Okay, so these are examples of evolution due to, yes, sorry, the term is here, anthropogenic action, that is the actions which are produced because of human beings, change in environmental pollution caused by human beings. Okay, this shows that evolution is not a direct process but a stochastic process, that is by chance evolution occurs. There is a probability of evolution. It is not that it will occur always in this way only, in this time duration only. We cannot fix it. Okay, it is a by chance process that can occur because of so many factors at present in the environment. It is based on chance event in nature and mutation in organisms. Okay, so this is resistance. They have shown a bunch of bacteria, including a resistant variety. When antibiotics were taken, normal bacteria, all of them, they die. The resistant bacteria, some non-resistant and some resistant bacteria, go on dividing. Next time, again, when antibiotics were taken, again these non-resistant bacteria, they die, and now we are left with only the resistant type, which will not be killed even if antibiotic is taken. So this is how a new type of an evolution has occurred in this old bacteria. So this is a type of evolution, but evolution because of us. Okay. Then we come to artificial selection. This has also contributed. You have done artificial selection in your class 10. Artificial selection also increases the pace of evolution. How? Wild cabbage. Remember class 10? Wild cabbage. क्या क्या बन गया था wild cabbage से? Wild cabbage से. Yes, Aditya. You're saying something? Quickly tell me. This term is not there in your NCERT right now. Anthropogenic action तक ही था. But this is also very important contributing factor. हाँ, Aditya, क्या क्या बन गया था?
According to the ma'am adaptive qualities we want, like broccoli, cauliflower, zameen khand. So ma'am, these were basically segregated into different fields. Like cauliflower was having like a flowery component, and like cabbage was having leaf component more.
Okay, very good. When we're talking about arrested flower development, then we had bred the cauliflowers, when sterile flowers, then broccoli. If larger distance between the leaves, kohlrabi, shorter distance between the leaves, cabbage, red colored leaves with a short distance, red cabbage. So this is how, when we started selecting the wild cabbage for specific features, different farmers selected a different group of wild cabbage for different features and started growing that type exclusively. What happened? Wild cabbage को तो अब कोई grow नहीं करता है. Rather, so many different varieties of cabbages have arise, not because nature did it, because we did it. Our artificial selection has led to increase in the variety of, or increase in the pace of evolution of these of wild cabbage. Okay, so man has domesticated many wild animals and plants, and wild domestication, the first thing we do, जब हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था chapter improvement in food resources, तो उसमें हम लोगों ने क्या किया था? सबसे पहला होता है select करना, selecting the right variety. So while we are doing selection, what are we doing? We are actually increasing the pace of evolution. हमारे अपने selection से pace of evolution increase हो रहा है. Okay, and then we are doing intensive breeding programs, hybridization हम कर रहे हैं plants में, because of which again desirable features आते जा रहे हैं daughter plants में, and we are increasing the pace of evolution. There's many breeds of animals like buffalo, cow, poultry, birds, etc. Many variety of crops as per our choice, having the desirable benefit. This has led to increasing the pace of evolution by artificial selection. Okay, Aditya, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, other than any poultry animal, have we done artificial breeding in other types of animals?
See, artificial breedings have been carried out in majority of organisms, but success rate की बात है. सक्सेस रेट इंटरजेनिक इंटरस्पेसिफिक प्रोसेस में अभी तक बहुत ज्यादा नहीं मिला है. क्लोनिंग एक्सपेरिमेंट तो वी आर डूइंग, okay, but and artificial breeding we are doing with the animals which are useful to us, तो किसी तरह से हमें benefit दें. Although experiments may have been done, I am not aware of them right now. Experiments तो हो रहे हैं, okay, but those becomes popular or those find places in the textbooks which are of use to the human race. ठीक है, जो कि generally food animals की तरह use हो सकते हैं, farm animals की तरह use हो सकते हैं. All these types of, maybe you find them in research journals, but they don't find places in the books right now. Okay,
So
maybe when you study about biotechnology in higher classes in post graduation level, you study about all these. Yes, Aditya?
so ma'am, the reason they are like more flexible towards changes or something else?
No, because they are of human use. They are domestic animals. We can domesticate them and we can extract benefit out of it. एक लाइन को अगर हमने हाइब्रिड उसका बना करके और उसको रिलीज भी कर दिया तो हमारे किस काम का है? Okay, we cannot get milk products from it. We cannot use it for farm labor. So the priority is given to the animals which can be of benefit to the human race. ठीक है? Okay, then we come to adaptive radiation. Now, adaptive radiation, I told you, adaptive radiation, radiate कर रहा है, मतलब it is new varieties. Radiations क्या होते हैं? Radiation means going out. Okay, so that means adaptive radiation was a phenomena which was observed by Charles Darwin. He gave this phenomena and उसने किस चीजों से explain किया था adaptive radiation को. Let's see what is adaptive radiation. How do we define adaptive radiation? It is an evolutionary process in which an ancestral stock, a group of similar types of organism, एक same organism की population अलग-अलग geographical areas में गई. Okay, suppose there were 10 different types of cows. Or 10 different types of cows, they migrated, they moved to 5 different areas. और उन areas का geographical features एक दूसरे से बहुत different थे. So in order to survive, what they had to do, they had to bring about certain changes in their habits, and over time, over many generations, धीरे-धीरे, in order to adapt to the environment, what happened? The changes occurred. Just a minute, about adaptive radiation, as I was giving you an example of 10 cows which were of similar type. Okay, they went to 5 different areas, and when they went to 5 different areas, then what happened? Because the geographical conditions were different, so they started adapting themselves to those geographical conditions. तो पहले तो उनकी थोड़ी बहुत habits change हुई, फिर उसके बाद मे बी उनके थोड़ा morphological change आने लगा, मे बी वहाँ की type of food that was available उसके हिसाब से उनके jaw के structure में थोड़ा सा change हुआ, थोड़ा सा teeth के shapes change हो गए, मे बी थोड़ा बहुत धीरे-धीरे करके digestive system. एक ही साल में, एक ही generation में these changes will not come. Over many generation, in order to survive well, या we can say कि जिनमें थोड़ा सा difference था, वो उनका नंबर इंक्रीज हो गया, जिनमें नहीं था उनका नंबर डिक्रीज हो गया. ऐसे नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में हुआ, जिनमें और कुछ स्लाइट चेंज था जो कि उनको सर्वाइवल बेनिफिट दे रहा था, उनका नंबर इंक्रीज होता चला गया. ओके, सो व्हाटएवर नेचुरल सिलेक्शन की वजह से ही हुआ, बट अल्टीमेटली आफ्टर मेनी जनरेशंस व्हेन वी वेंट टू दोस 5 डिफरेंट एरियाज एंड लुक्ड एट दोस सेम काउज, सेम इनिशियल ग्रुप ऑफ पॉपुलेशन ऑफ काउज, वी सॉ कि अब उनके जो डिसेंडेंट्स हैं वो एक दूसरे से बहुत ज्यादा डिफरेंट लगते हैं. Okay, so what is this? This is adaptive. Adapt करने के लिए radiation, radiate, changes कर लिए उन्होंने. They changed themselves into different types of species on the basis of the geographical locations present in different areas. Initially वो एक ही ancestor से, एक ही population से belong करते थे. So this is what he tries to say, that an ancestral stock, जैसे कि 10 cows becomes the ancestral stock, gave rise to new species in given geographical area, starting from a point and literally radiating to other geographical area. एक area से वो अलग-अलग areas, this farm was that area, यहाँ से वो इस 5 different areas में गए, और इन सब areas की geographical location conditions अलग-अलग थी, so they started adapting, and because the habitats and geographical area were different, they evolved into different species. Okay. This is what was called as adaptive radiation. और कैसे prove किया डार्विन ने adaptive radiation? By his popular birds called as Darwin's finches. What did he observe? He observed कि जो basic structure था in birds का, okay, the type of anatomy, the type of morphology भी काफी हद तक अगर थोड़ा बहुत shape और beak के structure को छोड़ दें, तो more or less all these birds they looked alike. He called them as Darwin's finches. These were small black birds which Darwin observed in Galapagos Island. हमने देखा ना जब वो गया था तो बीच में Galapagos Island पर थे. Galapagos Islands are a group of islands. बहुत सारे अलग अलग आइलैंड्स हैं जो एक दूसरे से बहुत दूर हैं. इतने दूर है कि एकदम से वहां पर फ्री जीन फ्लो इज नॉट पॉसिबल. एक तरफ से दूसरी तरफ जीन फ्लो पॉसिबल नहीं है. सो एंड दीज आइलैंड्स हैव वैरायटी ऑफ ज्योग्राफिकल कंडीशंस प्रेजेंट. एक दूसरे से बहुत अलग अलग ज्योग्राफिकल कंडीशंस प्रेजेंट है. So what did he observe? There are many varieties on the same island. He reasoned that after originating from a common ancestral seed-eating stock, the finches must have radiated to different geographical areas. Okay. By chance, what he observed, उसको एक ही island पर finches की कई सारी variety मिल गई. अब उसने उसको कैसे prove किया? उसने कहा कि जिस समय एक initial ancestral stock रहा होगा, वो वहां से उड़ा और उसके बहुत दूर दूर geographical areas में चला गया. उन geographical areas में वो they went there, they stayed there, and they started changing themselves in order to adapt well to those conditions. जब उन्होंने अडेप्ट कर लिया तो मे बी आफ्टर मेनी जनरेशन वन और टू ऑफ देम फ्लू बैक टू दैट ओरिजिनल आइलैंड फ्रॉम दैट दे स्टार्टेड, या और अलग अलग आइलैंड्स में इन सर्च ऑफ फूड दे मस्ट हैव वेंट, एंड दैट इज व्हाई द प्रेजेंट डे वैरायटी इज present in these finches. He reasoned that after originating from common ancestral seed, the finches must have radiated to different geographical areas and undergone adaptive changes, especially in the type of beak, because beak is very important for a bird. Seed eating birds ki beak is very different from insect eaters. It is very different from those who pick the insects from the wood and eat. So depending upon the food eating habit, the shape of the beak it changes. तो उसने देखा कि finches more or less तो इनका structure मिलता है, बस इनके beaks अलग अलग हैं. तो ऐसा क्यों हुआ होगा? Because in different locations they must have found different type of food. In order to survive, they changed their beak structure over many generations in order to effectively extract that, get that food and survive well. Okay. So living in isolation for long, the new kind of finches emerged that could function and survive in the new habitat. Okay. So this is the types of beaks that we observed. Large ground finches, which were seed eaters. Seed eaters जो थी उनमें finches उनकी ऐसी beak थी. Cactus ground finches जो cactus के fruits and flowers को खाती हैं उनकी ऐसी pointed beak थी. Then was the vegetarian finches जो कि buds of the flower को खाती हैं उनकी beak का shape was different, whereas the insect feeders, the woodpecker finches, their beak shape was different. ये सारे के सारे similar finches. On the basis of what they are eating, their beak shape is changed. ठीक है? Okay, the second example he gave for adaptive radiation was Australian marsupials. Now marsupials क्या होते हैं? Pouched animals होते हैं. Pouched animals which have a pouch in which they keep the young ones till the time they grow up enough for independent existence. जैसे कि kangaroo आपने पढ़ा था ना? Marsupials में आता है because it has a pouch in which जो छोटा सा I told you बिल्कुल एक seed के बराबर छोटा उसका baby होता है when it is born. And it is kept inside that pouch till the time it grows up and it is capable of independent existence. Okay. So number of marsupial or pouched animals, each different from the other, evolved from an ancestral stock within Australia. Australia में ही उसने देखा क्योंकि ऑस्ट्रेलिया का क्रॉस भी हो गया था. ऑस्ट्रेलिया में उसने देखा कि बहुत सारे तरीके के marsupial animals were found. When more than one adaptive radiation appeared to have occurred in an isolated geographical area with different habitat, it can be called as convergent evolution. More than one adaptive radiation appeared to have occurred in an isolated geographical area with different habitats. एक ही geographical area में जो अलग-अलग तरीके के habitats हैं, उनमें जो adaptive radiation हुआ, it is called as convergent evolution. इसको हमने ऑस्ट्रेलियन मार्supials को convergent evolution क्यों कहा? Just see here on page number 134 in your NCERT. Refer to page 134. These were all the Australian marsupials that were, and this is their counterparts which are found the placental mammals. ओके, तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में इन सारे तरीके के एनिमल्स ने एक ही तरीके का एवोल्यूशन शो करा. दैट मीन्स दे ऑल डेवलप्ड अ पाउच. ओके, तो इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? सो मेनी डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एनिमल्स showing the same kind of evolution, different animals showing the same kind of evolution. So that is why we are calling it as the convergent evolution. हुआ इनमें evolution, सारे के सारे हो सकता है लैंड से आए हो, किसी और जगह से आए हो, बट ऑस्ट्रेलिया में आकर के seeing the conditions there, the geographical conditions there, they all developed this pouch structure. तो एनिमल्स थे अलग अलग, बट सबने एक ही तरीके का डेवलपमेंट और एवोल्यूशन शो करा, तो इसको हमने कहा कन्वर्जेंट एवोल्यूशन. सो
मैम
रिमेंबर डार्विन्स फिंचेस हम एग्जांपल देंगे अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन में, एंड देन ऑस्ट्रेलियन मार्सुपियल्स हम हमेशा एग्जांपल देंगे इन कन्वर्जेंट एवोल्यूशन. ठीक है, यस आदित्य.
मैम तो व्हाट वाज द रीजन दैट ऑल एनिमल्स स्टार्टेड लाइक पाउच जैसा एक मतलब मॉर्फोलॉजिकल वो आ गया उनके अंदर चेंज
हाँ,
कि
so
सभी पाउच
maybe the conditions were such because in the pouch the mammary glands are present which feeds the young one. So maybe the conditions were not safe for the young ones to survive on their own. You never know what were the environmental conditions there, but because of the special type of environment, जैसे डार्विन ने फिंचेस का भी गेस किया कि हो सकता है फूड की अवेलेबिलिटी अलग अलग रही होगी, इसलिए उन सब ने अपनी बीक्स को डिफरेंट डिफरेंट तरीके का इवॉल्व कर लिया ओवर मेनी जनरेशंस. यहाँ पे हो सकता है the young ones were not protected in the open environment, so in order to give protection to the young ones, ये जितने भी अलग अलग तरीके के animals थे उन सब ने marsupial pouch डेवलप कर लिया in order to protect the young ones जब तक कि वो capable नहीं हो जाए of independent existence. Okay, तो ये अलग अलग organisms, उन सब ने एक रेडिएशन शो करा. जी, अगर मोल से मार्सुपियल मोल बना तो एक तरीके का अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन ही है. ठीक है, बट ऑल दीज डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन, अलग अलग ऑर्गेनिजम्स में होने वाले अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन जिसका नेचर बिल्कुल सेम है, is resulting in convergent evolution. यही मतलब है when they are saying here, do not get confused from this line, when more than one adaptive radiation appears to have occurred in an isolated geographical areas with different habitats, अलग अलग habitats and different organisms also, तब we are calling it as convergent evolution. ठीक है, एक को देखो तो उसमें तो अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन हो रहा है, बट जब सब में ही अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन हो रहा है and resulting in the development of the same feature, we are calling it as convergent evolution. And out, yes,
in the previous example we are saying that was a divergent evolution
yes,
and this one is convergent evolution.
yes, लेकिन है तो ये भी अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन ना. एक स्पीशीज से दो अलग स्पीशीज बनी, एक बेसिक मोल से एक पुराना टाइप ऑफ मोल, एक मार्सुपियल मोल बन गया. ठीक है, इसी तरीके से एंट ईटर्स, बेसिक टाइप ऑफ एंट ईटर से एक प्रेजेंट डे एंट ईटर और एक मार्सुपियल एंट ईटर बन गया. तो ये अपने आप में हर एक एक ऑर्गेनिज्म को स्टडी करें तो ये एक अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन है. ऑस्ट्रेलिया में अडेप्ट करने के लिए उन्होंने एक चेंज शो करा, एक नई स्पीशीज जनरेट कर दी, तो ये अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन है. बट जब इतने सारे अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन एक सेम कैरेक्टर को डेवलप करने के लिए हो रहे हैं, उस एरिया में सर्वाइव करने के लिए, then we are saying it is a convergent evolution. So many different organisms are showing the same kind of change, so it is a convergent. सब आकर के एक ही तरीके का डेवलपमेंट शो कर रहे हैं. See, it is shown here with the diagram also on page number 133. ऑस्ट्रेलियन मार्सुपियल्स है ये अडैप्टिव रेडिएशन, जो बेसिक वुल्फ थे उसमें चेंज होकर ट्रांसमेनियन वुल्फ बना, बेसिक कैट में टाइगर कैट बन गया, बैंडेड एंट ईटर्स, कोआला, मार्सुपियल मोल्स, ये सारे बन गए. बट बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ देम वर शोइंग द सेम काइंड ऑफ अडैप्टेशन, सेम काइंड ऑफ चेंज, दैट इज व्हाई we call it as convergent evolution. It can be called as a convergent evolution. Okay, then placental mammals of Australia show parallel evolution as they evolved from other marsupial mammals, each of which closely resembles, they look similar to the corresponding marsupial. ये किसी ना किसी ऑस्ट्रेलियन जो प्लेसेंटल मैमल्स से कहीं ना कहीं इनका स्ट्रक्चर मिलता जुलता है, बट एक स्पेसिफिक हैबिटेट में ये इस तरीके का एवोल्यूशन इन्होंने शो कर दिया होगा. So parallel evolution of Australian marsupial and placental mammals are given here. Marsupial mole resembles the normal mole, placental mole. Numbat, which is the banded anteater, which is again a marsupial, represents anteater, and so on. तो ये table भी important है, and you need to understand this. ठीक है? तो convergent evolution क्यों कहा, ये समझ में आ गया? Convergent evolution क्योंकि जितने भी organisms हैं एक niche में present होने वाले, उन सब ने same type of evolution show किया, यानी कि सब ने एक marsupial pouch develop कर दिया. Right? Then we come to the second part of this chapter, that is the various theories of evolution. अब ये evolution तो हमने समझ लिया, evolution क्या होता है, किस वजह से evolution हो सकता है, but अब अलग अलग scientists ने किन किन theories से evolution को prove किया, that we have to study the various theories related to evolution. Now, out of the various theories that were given for evolution, the most popular one was, first was the Lamarck's theory, and Lamarck's theory is the theory of inheritance of acquired characters. Second was the Darwin's theory of natural selection, जो अभी हम कर चुके हैं. Okay, so first is Lamarck's theory, second is Darwin's theory of natural selection, third is Hugo de Gavery's mutation theory, and fourth is modern concept of evolution. I repeat, Lamarckism, Darwinism, Hugo de Gavery's mutation theory, and modern concept of evolution. In 4 steps में हम पढ़ेंगे theories of evolution. Let's see the first, Lamarckism. Lamarckism or Lamarck's theory of evolution. What Lamarck said, ये तो बहुत पॉपुलर है, सब लोगों को पता है. जिराफ का एग्जाम्पल उसने दिया कि जब लैंड पर सारे हर्ब्स खत्म हो गए और या नीचे नीचे के प्लांट्स के जो नीचे के जो श्रब्स थी या ट्रीज थी, उनके नीचे के लीव्स कम हो गए, एंड इट वाज अ प्रॉब्लमेटिक सिचुएशन. तो उस समय the giraffes they used to pull their necks high in order to eat the leaves present high up the tree. तो वो पुल करते 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 क्या हो गया, जिराफ की अल्टीमेटली आफ्टर मेनी जनरेशंस उसकी नेक लंबी हो गई, बिकॉज उसने ओवर यूज किया नेक को. ओके, तो अगर वो उसने ओवर यूज नहीं करता तो नेक छोटी ही रहती है आज जिराफ की, बिकॉज ऑफ द कंडीशंस प्रेजेंट ऑन अर्थ, बिकॉज ऑफ द shortage of food, they had to extend their necks and they had to eat the food. Okay, so according to Lamarck, the evolution of life forms have occurred by use and disuse of organs. Organs are used more, which are used more, develop more, while those which are not used धीरे धीरे वो खत्म होते जाते हैं और वो vestigial organs बन जाते हैं. Okay, the character adaptation developed by organism during lifetime, जो भी हमने adaptation किया, हालांकि we don't believe in this anymore. हमें पता है एक्वायर्ड ट्रेट्स कभी भी पास ऑन नहीं होते, बट लेमार्क ने यही कहा कि जो भी कैरेक्टर हम अपने लाइफ टाइम में एक्वायर करते हैं वो प्रोजेनी में पास ऑन हो जाता है. ठीक है, he gave the long leg of giraffe as an example. According to him, it is an outcome of attempt to stretch the neck continuously to eat leaves from a tall tree. As they passed this acquired character of long neck to succeeding generations, giraffes came to acquire long neck over long period of time. ठीक है, तो उन्होंने ये कहा कि पहले जिराफ की नेक ऐसे छोटी रही होगी, ऊपर और ऊपर लीव्स को खाने के लिए उसने अपनी नेक को स्ट्रेच किया, ज्यादा यूज किया, नेक थोड़ी सी लंबी हो गई, ये कैरेक्टर प्रोजेनी में चला गया. प्रोजेनी ने और ज्यादा स्ट्रेच किया और ऊपर की लीव्स को खाने के लिए, ज्यादा हेल्दी रहने के लिए नेक और लंबी हो गई, वो प्रोजेनी में चली गई. नेक्स्ट प्रोजेनी ने और ज्यादा पुल किया, एंड दैट इज व्हाई द प्रेजेंट डे लॉन्ग नेक ऑफ जिराफ इज प्रेजेंट. इसका मतलब कि आगे भी अगर इस तरीके की डाइवर्सिटी शॉर्टेज रहती है फूड की, तो जिराफ की नेक तो लंबी होते चले जानी चाहिए. ओके, अकॉर्डिंग टू लेमार्किज्म. यस आदित्य.
मैम rather than कि ऐसा मतलब एक्वायर्ड ट्रेट्स नहीं आ सकते मतलब दूसरी जनरेशन में, तो मैम हम ये कह सकते हैं अगर एक्वायर्ड ट्रेट्स जेनेटिक स्ट्रीम्स में आ जाए देन मतलब वेरिएशन कैन टेक्स प्लेस, मतलब वही एक्वायर्ड
एग्जैक्टली. और यही चीज तो लेमार्क ने नहीं कही. लेमार्क ने तो उसको थ्योरी ऑफ यूज एंड डिसयूज ऑफ ऑर्गन्स कहा, which is wrong. अगर उसको एक्सप्लेन करना था, यानी उस समय जेनेटिक्स इतनी पॉपुलर नहीं थी ना बेटा, सो व्हाट ही डिड, ही शुड, अगर वो ये एक्सप्लेन करता कि जिनमें थोड़ी सी ज्यादा लंबी नेक थी इन, फिर ये वही चीज आ गई, डार्विन्स थ्योरी आ गई है. तो जिनमें थोड़ी नेक लंबी थी उनको सर्वाइवल बेनिफिट मिल रहा था, उनका नंबर इंक्रीज हुआ, उनके प्रोजेनी ज्यादा बने, और जिनकी कम थी वो डेड होते चले गए. ओके, तो उसको डार्विन ने ज्यादा अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया, लॉजिकली एक्सप्लेन किया रादर देन लेमार्क. ओके, so now next was what flightless birds उसने explain किया. इसी phenomena से दो बहुत पॉपुलर एग्जाम्पल है लेमार्क के, एक तो जिराफ तो बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलर एग्जाम्पल है, दूसरा है फ्लाइटलेस बर्ड्स। इन फ्लाइटलेस बर्ड्स ही सेड कि ऑस्ट्रिचेस जो हैं दे वर केपेबल ऑफ फ्लाइंग वंस, ओके। और क्योंकि द एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशंस वर सच कि उनको बहुत प्लेंटी ऑफ फूड मिल रहा था और वो वेल प्रोटेक्टेड थे, उनको अपने आप फ्लाई करने की जरूरत ही नहीं थी फूड की सर्च में जाने के लिए या अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए। तो बिकॉज दे स्टार्टेड डिसयूजिंग देयर फेदर्स, दैट इज व्हाई दे बिकेम फ्लाइटलेस आफ्टर मेनी जनरेशंस, ठीक है। तो यूज के लिए उसका सबसे पॉपुलर एग्जांपल है जिराफ। एग्जांपल्स उसने बहुत सारे दिए थे, okay, but सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलर एग्जांपल ऑफ ओवरयूज रिजल्टिंग इन एवोल्यूशन इज दैट ऑफ नेक ऑफ जिराफ। और सबसे पॉपुलर एग्जांपल ऑफ डिसयूज ऑफ ऑर्गन्स बिकॉज ऑफ विच दे लूज देयर फंक्शन इज ऑस्ट्रिच, कि उसको ना उड़ने की जरूरत थी ना उसको प्रोटेक्ट करने की जरूरत थी, तो उसने उड़ना बंद कर दिया, कई जनरेशन तक नहीं उड़ी, तो व्हाट हैपेंड, उसके उड़ने की कैपेबिलिटी खत्म हो गई, ओके। So this was Lamarckism, and Lamarckism क्या, there were many criticisms to Lamarckism. Yes, Aditya?
मैम इसका एक क्रिटिसिज्म ये भी तो हो सकता है कि मतलब अभी हमारे अपेंडिक्स काम नहीं आ रहा, तो मतलब उसको तो अब तक हट ही जाना चाहिए।
Exactly. अपेंडिक्स जो वेस्टिजियल ऑर्गन्स अभी हमारी बॉडी में प्रेजेंट है, ये ईयर, पिना, इसका क्या रोल है, कितना ये एंटीना की तरह काम करता है, ये जो नीचे हैंगिंग पोर्शन है इसका क्या रोल है, ठीक है। नोज टिप का क्या रोल है, कोई रोल नहीं है। इन सब चीजों को तो खत्म हो जाना चाहिए था अगर, क्योंकि इनका तो हम यो यूज कर ही नहीं है, जस्ट पियर्सिंग के लिए तो यूज कर रहे हैं, वो भी गर्ल्स में, राइट। तो इसका मतलब कि या तो बॉयज में तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए था, क्योंकि वो तो पियर्स भी नहीं करते अपनी ईयर्स को, मेजोरिटी ऑफ देम, राइट, लेकिन वो अभी तक है, मेन विमेन दोनों में है, ठीक है। तो इसका मतलब डिसयूज से या ओवर यूज से changes cannot occur. This was one of the logics that was given against Lamarckism, ठीक है। After this came the next theory, that is the theory of and there were many favors, कई लोग फेवर करते थे कि acquired characters जो हैं वो पास ऑन नहीं हो सकते, although some like Harrison and Tarr उनको ये वो मानते थे कि yes acquired characters can be transferred, क्योंकि उस समय तक जीन्स की नॉलेज बहुत ज्यादा नहीं थी, but majority of them believe that the acquired traits cannot be transferred till the time they are present in the genes, ठीक है। इसके बाद आई नेक्स्ट थ्योरी that was called as neo-Lamarckism. Modified form of Lamarckism was called as neo-Lamarckism. And what was the main points about neo-Lamarckism? Neo-Lamarckism, it shows that the modification of the environment does not have any influence on the change in heredity, ठीक है, environment की वजह से कोई change नहीं होता है। Then second thing is that only some of the variation can be passed on to the offspring, but only if they affect the genes of the present generation, ठीक है। And the presence कितनी strength है, कितना use disuse किया है organ को, this has no role in evolution. So these theories, these points that were presented forward were called as the points of neo-Lamarckism, that is the modern concept of Lamarckism, ठीक है। उसने क्या कहा, हाँ ट्रांसफर हो सकते हैं कैरेक्टर, लेकिन वही कैरेक्टर जो जर्म सेल्स में को इफेक्ट करेंगे, जो जर्म सेल्स को चेंज नहीं कर पाएंगे, वो कैरेक्टर्स पास ऑन नहीं करेंगे। तो न्यो-लेमार्किज्म ने लेमार्क की बात को माना, कैरेक्टर्स पास होते हैं, बट उसको एक लॉजिकल वो पॉइंट या ट्विस्ट दे दिया कि वही ट्रांसफर होंगे जो जर्म सेल्स को इफेक्ट करेंगे, ना तो एनवायरमेंट, ना यूज डिसयूज, only which affect the germ cells would be passed on, ठीक है। इसके बाद नेक्स्ट आती है important theory of evolution is Darwinism. Darwinism we have already discussed when we discussed about natural selection, when we discussed about what was it, the next point, two theories given by Darwin, natural selection and branching descent. तो हमने branching descent जब हमने discuss किया, natural selection discuss किया, when we discussed about adaptive radiation, when we talked about convergent evolution, we were actually discussing about Darwinism or theory given by Darwin, ठीक है। अब इसके बाद the next theory which comes is the theory that was given by Hugo de Veres, okay। This was, or Hugo de Veres की theory is also called as the mutation theory, and Hugo de Veres said that the mutations lead to evolution. Isn't that right? What is mutation? Mutation is any wanted or unwanted change in the sequence of DNA, और अब ट्रांसक्रिप्शन, ट्रांसलेशन सब कुछ पढ़ लेने के बाद हमें पता है कि अगर डीएनए का सीक्वेंस चेंज हुआ तो उससे आरएनए चेंज हो जाएगा, आरएनए का सीक्वेंस चेंज हुआ तो उससे प्रोटीन्स चेंज हो जाएंगे, और जैसे ही प्रोटीन चेंज हुआ उसका 3D स्ट्रक्चर जरा भी चेंज हुआ उसका फंक्शन डिफर कर जाएगा. Okay, so this was mutation theory given by Hugo de Veres. Let us see what he said. He proposed the mutation theory of evolution. He worked on Evelyn Primrose. He defined mutation as largely heritable change occurring suddenly in the characteristics of population. Suddenly कोई change हो जाए, और हो भी सकता है. Why not? See, during division, DNA में भी तो अपने आप changes हो जाते हैं. वो crossing over की वजह से changes हो जाते हैं. कोई अनवांटेड बेस गलती से ऐड ऑन हो गया, बिकॉज आई टोल्ड यू नो नेचुरल फिनोमेना इज 100% फुल प्रूफ, तो हो भी सकते हैं चेंजेस. ओके, सो एनी सडन चेंजेस, यूवी रेज कंटिन्यूसली हमारे ऊपर गिर रही है, यूवी रेज तो म्यूटेशन कॉज करती है, एक्स रेज, गामा रेज, इतनी तरीके के म्यूटेजेनिक रेज के हम कॉन्टैक्ट में आते हैं, इतने सारे केमिकल म्यूटेजेंस के कॉन्टैक्ट में हम और प्लांट्स आते हैं. तो ऑब्वियसली व्हेन एनिमल्स एंड प्लांट्स आर कमिंग इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद म्यूटेजेंस, उनमें कोई भी अगर म्यूटेशन हुआ, दैट म्यूटेशन कैन बी पास्ड ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन एंड मे रिजल्ट इन evolution. He differed from Darwin in the following ways. De Veres mutations are random and directionless. ये मेन डिफरेंसेस ना, और ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, बहुत बार आता है एग्जाम में कि क्योंकि दोनों ने यही चीज कहा कि कोई चेंजेस आए किसी जनरेशन में तो वो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में पास ऑन हो जाएंगे और यही एवोल्यूशन कॉज करेगा. फिर इनकी थ्योरीज में डिफरेंस क्या है? इनकी थ्योरीज में डिफरेंस ये है कि डार्विन ने कहा कि जो भी एवोल्यूशन होता है वो एक डायरेक्शनल होता है. डायरेक्शनल मतलब जो भी सर्वाइवल बेनिफिट देगा वही कैरेक्टर पास ऑन होगा. लेकिन de Veres ने कहा कि इट कैन बी वांटेड और अनवांटेड चेंज. अगर कोई चीज जर्म सेल्स को इफेक्ट कर रही है, डीएनए को इफेक्ट कर रही है या उसमें म्यूटेशन कॉज कर रही है, तो चाहे वो चेंज डिजायरेबल है चाहे नॉन डिजायरेबल है, चाहे वो सर्वाइवल बेनिफिट दे रहा है चाहे नहीं दे रहा है, it will be passed on to the next generation. One major difference between Hugo de Veres and Darwin's theory. Okay, Darwin believed that large single cell mutation called saltation. तो कई बार बोर्ड में 1 मार्कर और अब तो MCQs आते हैं, उसमें आ जाता है what is saltation. This term is there in NCERTs. Okay, so what is saltation? Large single step mutation, एक बार में होने वाला मैसिव म्यूटेशन. तो de Veres ने कहा कि अगर कोई एक बहुत बड़ा म्यूटेशन सडनली किसी ऑर्गेनिज्म में हो जाता है तो वो एक बार में ही एक नई स्पीशीज का फॉर्मेशन कर सकता है. ठीक है, लेकिन डार्विन ने कहा एक नई स्पीशीज एक बार में कभी नहीं बनती, कई जनरेशंस लग जाते हैं और ग्रेजुअल चेंजेस होते हैं तब जाकर के स्पीसिएशन में अकर. वेरियस ने कहा एक बार में नया जनरेशन नया बन सकता है. ठीक है, नाउ वी विल स्टार्ट विद इट्स टाइम एंड 11:40 माय नेक्स्ट